How to forgive the unforgivable. In this video, I want to talk with you about this concept of forgiveness and about the misconceptions that exist around this concept, and why, if we don't forgive the unforgivable, why this will in the end just harm us. And I'm sure you've heard this numerous times before. Maybe you have even done courses and meditations and whatnots in order to forgive your own unforgivable situations in your life, whether it concerns somebody else wronging you and hurting you, or whether you can't forgive yourself for certain things. So it's nothing new, this idea or this thought that forgiveness is actually the path to releasing and to truly being free. But how can we forgive the unforgivable in terms of the one thing? Maybe you have actually in your own life managed to forgive most things, right? But there is this one thing, this one person that you just you can say, yes, I want to forgive this person and I've done X, Y, Z in therapy or whatever, but if I'm really honest with myself, I cannot forgive that person, or I don't want to forgive that person, because underlying is the belief that if I forgive that, then I'm really saying it's okay. I'm really saying they're getting away with it, and I'm really kind of almost saying it's not as bad as I claim it to be or as I experienced it to be. And these are thoughts and ideas which arise from within our personality, and this is totally normal and totally okay. But what we need to realize is that as long as we hold that as our base belief, we will never, ever, ever be able to forgive. Because what is not able to forgive is the concept that we have of ourselves, is our identity, our identification. And as long as you think you are that person, as long as I think I'm Mel, I'm this person with this name, with this history, with these beliefs, with these experiences, with these parents, with this upbringing, with this story, with this setup, as long as this is who I think I am, of course, I will hold certain judgments about whatever has happened to me or whatever I have experienced, especially if maybe somebody has hurt me deliberately, or if somebody has treated me or has made me the victim of injustice, let's say, perceived injustice from my angle. And you can say, well, injustice from every angle, maybe, right? But as long as I believe the concept of who I think I am, I will not be able to truly forgive. And this is also what is the core of all forgiveness. We need to realize that in the end, and this may trigger some of you, but I'm going to explain what I mean by that. In the end, there is nothing to forgive. If we look at it from Source's point of view, from a higher consciousness point of view, there is never right or wrong. There just is isness. Yes? And there are actions and there are frequencies that vary. So there are frequencies and actions that reflect lower vibrations, and there are actions and thoughts and words and deeds that reflect higher vibrations. So in terms of hurting somebody, or in terms of mistreating someone, this is always, or controlling somebody, or dominating somebody, or imprisoning somebody, infringing on somebody's free will. That is a very low vibration, but it's not being judged from Source. Now, we do judge, especially if it happens to us, especially somebody harms and hurts us. Yes, because there is a deep, deep experience within us that happens. It happens. It happens to our human self. And by forgiving, for example, if you've realized, yes, if I forgive, I'm freeing myself. So I know it's the right thing to do, and I want to forgive, so I forgive. But it remains a concept that you tell yourself that you, as the person does, you forgive. Forgiveness hasn't happened, and you're still not really free. So only by realizing who and what we really are. We are eternal energy. We are eternal souls. And eternal souls can never be harmed by anything or anyone, because everything that we see is a creation. And because it's created, it comes and goes. And whatever comes and goes cannot be real, cannot exist. And this is the same that the law and miracles, or the Course in Miracles, teaches. And I'm saying it with these words to help you understand that as long as we identify with something, our body, our personality, it comes and goes and it changes every day. So if we identify with something that changes, it cannot be us. So we are these spiritual entities, beings, energies, having a human experience. And whatever judgment we place on things is a judgment from a human point of view. From a higher consciousness, from our real self point of view, there is no judgment. There just is. And I get to respond. So whatever I think needs to be forgiven. Whatever I think somebody has done to me. Yes, it happened within this scenario here. It happened to the illusionary person that I am. Illusionary can trigger us too, because we experience ourselves as real. But to the identified self, it did happen. From an identified self to another identified self, right? Or from somebody who creates war in some country and creates pain and suffering. And so it happens. It's not like it didn't happen or it wasn't as bad as it was experienced. It was as bad as it was experienced. But by forgiving, we're only stating that we realize that we can never be harmed, truly. Nobody can take anything from us. Nobody can take our security. Nobody can take our unharmedness. Nobody can harm us, because every body is just a creation, a manifestation of something. But me, as the real me, cannot be harmed. And so whatever happened in this play, by realizing who I am, and this is really the key to forgiveness, because yes, it's true, forgiveness frees us, and it also frees us from karma. Because if we don't forgive, we hold energy stored. The frequency of what happened between two humans, let's say, this frequency is being stored and is being kept, and it will be replayed in future lives, if you so wish to see it, in order to get rid of it, in order to solve it, to release it. So by remembering who I really am, and in that remembering that nothing can really harm me, then I also realize there's nothing to forgive from that level. It's not the concept of forgiveness that I'm trying to put in place. Yes, I know if I want to be free, I need to forgive, and so I forgive. If I want to be a good person or a better person or a more spiritual person, I need to forgive, so I forgive. That's still conceptual. It's still something in my mind that I'm trying to put into place. But it's not real forgiveness. It's not really freeing. And this is what many of you struggle with. But by realizing, hang on a minute, no one has the power to do anything to me. Yes, you can do stuff to my human identity. And it can be experienced as very real and very unjust. And that person, whoever did something to you, they created karma by doing that, because infringing on someone's free will, hurting somebody, causing pain, causing suffering, and so on and so forth, it will always, always come back to them, because nothing happens without consequence. This is a universal law. There's cause and there's effect. So they attract onto them what they create. It's a very, very just universe. and that's good. But we don't have to look after them in terms of getting them punished or getting them to resolve that. The universe will do that. The divine setup is going to look after that. We just need to realize nothing and no one can really harm us, and has never, ever done that. And this can only be achieved by truly, truly feeling and understanding that you are an eternal spiritual spark of the divine. And by that you release everything. And by that, forgiveness will be natural. It will not be of any effort. It will be like, I just let go of the illusion of who I thought I was. And in that, everything else will melt away. We're going to talk more about that in future videos, because I think we need to dive deeper into this, because I realize that it triggers some, and some will respond with, but what if this happened to you, and what if that happened, and to children, and this, that, and the other. We are going to talk more about it, but let the words sink in that I just said, and just take them openly. Okay? I'm going to love you and leave you for today, and we'll talk again next time.